Well. We did take a week off. We were left speechless after a 4-0 win. Again, we can say we're left speechless after this performance. It's Stevie P and I back at it again. We're going to go take you through this game. We're going to take you through some news and rumors, Serie A, somewhat Serie A, right? Because no games today. We're going to get into that as well. Future coaches, Coppa Italia, and on that note, Stevie P, are we ready to go?
Let's go.
All right, guys, let's get this show on the road. Would it be better if we had it ourselves? Cari amici sportivi, welcome you to another edition of the Milan Weekly Podcast where we talk everything Milan A. No offense, no urgency, no identity, Milan. Stevie P, Vinny T here every Monday. Forget about WrestleMania weekend. Forget about John Cena winning number 17, Stevie P. We're here about Milan not getting 3 points that we're talking about. And I just wanted to start you off. How was your Easter, buddy? Let's start off with some sort of positivity.
Lamb was good. Family, that's all that counts. Milan dropping 3 points is a little crack in the Easter egg.
Yeah, definitely. And did you have any meat on Friday, Stevie P? I tried to have a filet of fish, but McDonald's at next door house, no filet of fish on that one. But I did not cheat. I did not cheat. Alon, God bless her, she would be proud of me. So yes, some lamb for everybody. And Pasquetta today. Steve, let's just get straight into it. We're just counting down the days now. It's like I see myself from like 6 months ago where I was like, there's a little bit of hope. There's a little bit of hope. And, I go back to Marco Materazzi's comments, and somebody shared it in the chat, where it's like, in a year like this, una squadra scarsa come il Milan can finish up with 2 trophies, and a team like Inter, which has been dominated, can end up with absolutely nothing. Is that the beauty of Serie A, Steve? Is that me trying to be positive, trying to?
It's the beauty of soccer. It's the beauty of football. But in reality, honestly, the team is in shambles, uninspiring. Another performance where no urgency, no identity, absolutely nothing in front of their home fans. It's almost like they need the pens. We need to get a sponsor for the pens, because everybody who puts on a Milan shirt in this team seems to do a little bit of caca in their pantalones, and this is another example.
How about you guys out there? Are you still watching, hoping for something like me? Are you just watching out of loyalty? And yesterday, Steve, I was sitting at my sister's watching the game, and I thought about this. This, like, I am watching out of loyalty, because every single time, you were talking about 0 clear chances created, that I'm taking myself back to the game yesterday. It's like, every time I was getting up on the couch. I was like, why am I getting up for? It's like, oh my, and it's just like, I don't know, Steve.
We're mixed up on the days. We're mixed up on the days. The game was Saturday, but it's okay.
Excuse me, sorry.
Yes.
No, it was on Sunday.
Yes,
it was on Easter Sunday, Stevie P.
Yeah.
Yeah, weekday. See how confused Milan's got you,
I'm very
Steve?
confused. Anyways, regardless of when the game was, we are watching on loyalty. Absolutely 100% watching on loyalty. Yes, today is Monday, not Sunday. You are correct. Uh,
Okay,
but that's the beauty though. But that's the beauty. And again, you're watching on loyalty because you need to be here for this team when it's bad and when it's good. Everybody who's not watching all of a sudden who magically has it's a lie, you're not watching. You might not be watching the game, but
that's
you're
one thing I don't
watching the
understand. Yeah,
highlights.
yeah, that's one thing I can't understand. It's like I can understand the frustration, but seeing people saying they're not watching the game, I to each their own. But again, I'm sure you're watching secretly behind the scenes. Steve, talk to me about tactically. You know, at the beginning, we saw Jovic, and I'll be honest with you, Steve. I you know what took me. I thought like, okay, yeah, he scored a couple of times, but this is the rinse repeat with Milan. Give somebody a chance because they perform well, and as soon as they start, the Okafors, the I'm trying to think of other people that that as soon as they could, they start a game, it's not going well. But how about you? What did you think about the starting lineup, or tactically, what went wrong, man?
Uh, I'm not 100% sure we have any tactics at all. For me, the 3-4-3 was, yeah, it's about time. But I still think that there's nothing happening going forward. Let me tell you, I think, you know, Vinny Mancini hits the hammer on the nail. Yay! Thank you very much for the super
Thanks, James.
chat. Thank you, James. Vinny Mancini hits the hammer on the nail. Like I think this team, maybe against Udine, who really didn't have a lot of anything to play for, we looked a little bit better and scored 4 goals. But now you see against an Atalanta where we need to go back to fundamental football. We need to go back to keeping things simple, maybe like defending as a unit. But that's the key for me. I don't think this team is a unit. I don't think that they're a family. I think they're individuals and they're looking out for their best interests. And I agree. I agree with Marcus. I'm getting sick and tired of this lackluster midfield that seems to be just overexhausted and with no ideas. And Teo and Leao have not been holding up their end of the bargain. So it's getting frustrating.
You know, and it just felt like this whole final third and no chances, Steve. And you know what the worst part is? Atalanta wasn't good at all, and not the Atalanta that we're used to seeing. They had 2 chances. One of them they scored, and Mike pulled off a miracle in the second one. But how do you explain? It's just talking about Leao and Pulisic being isolated. Where is that spark? And it's like you get an Atalanta like this. And on a week that you could have, I'm not saying that you would have gotten to fourth place, but you needed these 3 points. And I don't know. Do you have any explanation for me, Steve?
We'll talk about it a little bit later in another segment, but it's very obvious. Zero chances, zero clear chances created, no game plan in the final third. It's just something's wrong with this Milan, and I think it started from we'll call it the reverse foundation from top to bottom. You don't have a clear idea of what this team wants to be. What identity does this team want to be, right? So, we get our third choice coach. We get signings that we hope are going to pan out. Some we gamble, some we don't gamble. And we get a minestrone, and not even riscaldato, but just a minestrone of players that we just try to mishmash together with someone who maybe doesn't know how to make minestrone. And we had Fonseca. And now, you bring in someone who has a half-started minestrone and you're asking him to cook where we're not even 100% sure. And again, I find the blame is unfair to Consensao.
Yeah.
He doesn't do himself any favors. Don't get me wrong. He doesn't do himself any favors. But think about the situation that he's been put in, right? Coming into this, let's continue the analogy. This minestrone that's just put together, and really basically not cooked well from the beginning, and he's trying to make something of it, and it's just not happening. There's a lot of factors that go into this, right? And I think it stems from the top, and a lot of people that said, "Oh, the top." Like, I need to differentiate where I stand on this. I think the owner is the owner because he paid the money, but I think the owner is also very responsible about the people that he hires, and unfortunately, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of organization up there. And you'll see in the coming topics, there's a problem.
And I just wanted to pull this up. Vinny Mancini he's a dad. Look at him. He only watches shit football from so I decided for my son. Yes, but only good things. Only good things for your son, Vinny Mancini, fellow Patreon member. Thank you so very much. Obviously, and look at this guy. And he's sending his son is sending us $2. Grazie, Vinny. Auguri to
Grazie,
you.
auguri.
And it looks Vinny might be coming down to Montreal this year. We shall see. I told him we're gonna greet him with open arms. To you guys, what did you think about the game? Do you agree with us with this whole final third? Conceição's fault, management's fault, but the way I keep on seeing this, Steve, is like I'm not sure a different management or we have a different coach, and we're gonna get into the rumors after. It's like this team needs some sort of change. It just doesn't make any sense. And I sorry I didn't pull this up here before, but how about let me just take your take on the 3-4-3, Steve, or 3-4-2-1. Do you think this is the formation to go with? Or looking at this, defensively didn't look bad. Do you like this 3-4-3 formation?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think they needed a change. I think they need to stick with it at least till the end of the year. But again, guys, it's very, very complicated, right? So, like, this coach is putting in this 3-4-3. We're not even 100% sure this coach is going to be there next year. Yeah. These players are starting to get used to a 3-4-3. We're not even 100%. Some of these players are going to be there next year. So what we're seeing now is we're just trying to put back the pieces of this puzzle that we dropped a long, long time ago, and then having to put all these puzzle pieces back in a box and go through the summer without touching it. And hopefully someone with some kind of soccer mind takes control of the sporting director position, direttore sportivo in Italian, and starts to piece this puzzle together. Because you were 100% right, guys. Vinny, when you said, like, this team needs a change, like, and it's not the team in terms of just the players. I think the whole organization.
Everybody's to blame, Steve.
Yeah,
everybody's to blame.
Everybody's
to blame, because I do seriously think that when Conceição came in, and the way we performed in the Super Cup, the winter signings, which I'm sorry, guys, we can't before they started playing. I think these were fantastic signings, and in the end, something's not right, and looks like we're not gonna even doing Europa League. I'm not sure, Steve. And Steve, Bill Clinton is asking, êtes-vous basé à Montréal? Je suis un nouveau fan. Oui, Bill.
Yes, sir, Bill. Oui,
Oh.
Bill, la belle province, Bill. Yes, sir, Bill. Dis hello à Monica.
Steve, do you have a top in this match? Let me pull it back up.
No. For me, there's no performances like this. Like, I'm done. I'm tired of the top and flop, because the flop always keeps on being similar people. It's very hard to
Magic
pick a
Mike.
top. Mike. I think Mike has been great. I didn't even think Mike was able to play this game. And if we went to what the newspaper said, he was not supposed to be playing this game. But yeah, Magic Mike top and flop you can pick from Fofana. I did not like Fofana this game.
He was not bad.
Gave away the ball very, very cheaply. I'm going to give a flop also to Conceição. I think he left Jovic a little bit in there too long. I think he should have tried, with Jimenez and Abraham. Uh, the 3-4-3 is a good formation. It's just the three up top have to be clicking. And again, this is starting very, very late in the season. Match day 33, we're trying a new formation and we're asking these guys to click. And one of the guys that we were asking to click was Jovic, who was rumored to be out the door like 17 times before we started to play him. So my question to everybody is coming from this, like, has Jovic just not gotten a fair shot and finally got a fair shot and is someone that we can trust, or we're just seeing someone who's playing for another contract somewhere else? That's my question.
About you guys out there listening or viewing, is Sergio out of solutions? Is Milan eating him up as well? Who's responsible for all this drop in intensity? And I think you got our answer. I think everybody's to blame. Vinny's asking, why do you think it took our manager this long to change the formation or try something new? Vinny, only him and Jesus Cristo. No, I don't know, Steve. It's just like you're trying something new. What, 8 games left in the season? He tried this a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
I don't know. There's no explanation on this why Conceição is doing it. And you know what? I'll give him kudos or chapeau to him. It's just like I understand him. It's not for him to talk about his future, but coming out and saying it's like, you guys are talking about the next managers is kind of a lack of respect towards me, and I respect that. But at least he doesn't chew his words around, Steve, and he doesn't pull the. Remember the Montel excuses after the losses. At least he doesn't do that, right?
Yeah. At least he doesn't do that. Again, to just add on a bit to what Vinny said there, I don't know why it's almost taboo to change something, right? Like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I bet you he changes to the 3-4-3 after he thinks it's his time to change to the 3-4-3. And we're probably still going to lose that game or drop points, and he's going to get crucified for changing to the 3-4-3. He just changed it to at the right time, playing Udine, who had absolutely nothing to play for, and it got him 4 goals. But now we can never build on anything positive. We haven't won 3 games in a row all year. We're going to see later on where we talk about how many points we've dropped to direct rivals. And it's just something to cry about, and it's
definitely is. It's
not a good year for Milan, guys. Not a good year.
Stevie P, let's go through football. Then we're gonna go through some news, and we're gonna wrap it up from there. So let's take it through our segment, football segment. This segment is brought to you by Fubo.tv, your home for all things Serie A and EPL here in Canada. Se pot anche ascoltare in italiano. CVP today woke up to some big news. Pope Francis passing away. Was watching with my dad yesterday La Santa Messa, and it didn't look 100%. But why we're putting this up, rest in peace to him. But no Serie A games today. The 4 games postponed. Do you think, Steve? Obviously, those are going to have people complaining online. Would it be? And I feel for them, like if you're traveling, all that stuff. But do you think this is the right decision, especially in a very religious country like Italy?
Yeah, so Catholicism is very profound in Italy. Vatican City, that epicenter of Catholicism, does live in Vatican City, which is right at the heart of Rome. Guys, I really feel for people that traveled to these Serie A games that got pushed to the 23rd. They're saying right now. I hope that they can extend their stay and watch these games. It's a very, very tough decision. I really feel for them, but I think deep down it's something that the Serie A had to do, and had to postpone these games just because of, like you said, how deep Catholicism is embedded in the Italian culture and in Serie A. So
a big a big San Lorenzo fan, Steve, from Argentina. He would never watch the matches, but he would always ask, supposedly, one of his aides, what was the final score? So rest in peace to him. And yes, definitely
I don't believe he
decision.
didn't watch the matches there. He's another one. Yeah, God rest his soul.
Hey,
He's another one. I call him out on that. I call him out on that. He was watching those games. While he was doing La Mesa, he had Fubo TV on some sort of streaming channel watching San Lorenzo. Let's get serious. He was watching those games.
Rest in peace, Pope Francis, and to week 33 in Serie A. Steve, uno sconto diretto, Lecce and Como. Lecce was definitely leading these 3 points. Como said no, 3-0, and just solidifying their stay in Serie A on this one. Were you expecting a bit more from Lecce, especially in the position that they are?
Yeah, really, Lecce at home playing against Como, direct rival. I expected more, but I think Como's a good team. I think that we're gonna have to watch out for Como. They'll be the next Monza. And I don't think that there'll be a Monza that'll go down and up and down and up. I think that their ownership is going to invest heavily in this team. Watch out for Como.
Napoli leaving it late with il scozzese, come si chiama? McTominay.
Oh my God!
And Steve, the result says 1-0.
Yeah.
And I don't know what Napoli. I don't even have a reasoning for you to say, well, it's because they're tired. They're not playing 3 games a week. They're not. And now Conte sembra che comincia il malo di pancia. Steve supposedly came out. Some fans, you riled up some fans, but in the end, Steve, and we're gonna see after the later result, they're back in there, are they not?
Yes, big win for Napoli. And again, I think everybody on the soccer planet, besides Conte and McTominay and McTominay's agent, need to apologize to McTominay, because I, for one, thought this was a terrible move. And now I'm pretty sure the people at Manchester United, the people who doubted this guy, are saying, wow, maybe we should have given him another chance. So I think, it has a lot to do with the right atmosphere, the right type of coach, and the right type of playing style. And I think I never thought he would assimilate himself so easily to Serie A, and he's done so. And again, tip my hat to him. Super duper surprise for Naples.
That shows what kind of quality, because Steve, a lot of players come to Serie A and do not perform or take time to adjust. So good for them. 3 points to Napoli. Roma taking the 3 points. So we're going to take a look after in the standings, where Roma cheat to cheat, as we were saying, Calabrese. They're coming up with those 3 points. Then a game that both, what this is for Liban Youssef, lots of trompet in this one. Empoli Venezia, an entertaining game, Steve. And this game, they both needed the 3 points, but was it written in the stars on this one? It's just that, if you take a look at, Empoli and Venezia, both a pari punti, they were at 24, at 25 right now, but still an entertaining game.
Very entertaining game. It was back and forth, scoring Empoli at home, scoring late to equalize this. But I think it's 2 drop points from both teams. I think one of those teams had to come out with a victory, and I think it's probably disappointing for both. More so for Empoli, who was at home.
I was surprised with this one, Steve. Definitely surprised with this one. I wanted to ask you your take, or I didn't think Inter was going to lose to Bologna, but Orsolini leaving it late, 1-0 Bologna, and the one team that we needed, that we probably secretly cheering for Inter to win, but no, doesn't happen, and Serie A's wide open again. Well, wide open for 2 teams. Bologna getting it done at home. Did you see those videos of Napoli fans as soon as that was pretty entertaining. They're all going crazy in Naples, seeing Bologna beating Inter.
Yeah, same thing in our Scudetto year. It seems like Bologna is the boogeyman for Inter, and they just just have trouble playing this team, and a lot of strange things happen when they play Bologna for some reason. Here it's the throw in that was taken 125 yards away from where the ball went out. Well done to Bologna. And again,
Yeah.
that's on officiating and VAR if they want to fix that. I'm not gonna cry for Inter fans, that's for sure. But I think Inter is thinking more about the Champions League than that they are about Serie A right now, which could have led to this drop in form because they did not look good against Bologna.
Definitely not. And then Torino, Udinese, Cagliari, Fiorentina, Genoa, Lazio, Parma, Juventus getting rescheduled. Steve, did they announce officially? Is it going to be? They have
From
to
what
finish
I saw,
before
it's Wednesday the 23rd.
Wednesday the 23rd. So far, that's what we're thinking about. Let's look at this La Classifica. Steve, let's go with top six. Who do you see? Is it staying as is? What are you expecting? I know I always have to ask you the surprise of it, but let's go with top six. Do you think these top six will stay as is?
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a lot of movement in the top six, just because you know we have some interesting matchups coming up. This break in action here might cause some teams to just take it out of fifth gear and bring it back to third gear for some reason. So I think Atalanta, Bologna winning against direct rivals, fantastic for them. Juve has a matchup against Parma. I don't see that being trouble for Juve, but you never know with Juve. Roma taking care of business, and Lazio and crybaby Lotito, who doesn't want to play his game against Genoa, is going to probably have to drop points, right? So I think I don't think 1 to 6 will change very much.
Okay.
I give up on Milan. Wherever they finish, they finish. It's really up to them in terms of where they want to finish. But in reality, we're 6 points away from sixth, which I don't think is something that's impossible. It's just this team doesn't give me any positive motivation to think that we can make any type of run. So,
have your views changed on who's joining Monza and Serie B next year, Steve?
look, I told you, Empoli and Venezia had their chance. Someone could have pulled away. I think it's Parma's chance to pull away as well. Yes, they have a game against Juve, but besides that, I think it's a crapshoot. I think Parma will pull away, and it'll be safe. And then it all depends, Verona, Cagliari, if they slip up. Lecce playing at home really didn't do much. So again, very tough to see. It's going to be a relegation battle, which is going to be probably a little bit more interesting than the fight for the Champions League spots.
When was the last time Pisa was in Serie A, Steve? It looks like
I don't
even
know.
them. They might,
I think they were delivering pizza bottles door to door the last time they were in Serie A.
That's for Montreal people, because I don't think there was any Pisa around in I don't know, maybe Toronto, I'm not sure, but Pisa, do they still go around? La Gazzusa, remember, like, it wasn't 7-Up, it was La Gazzusa.
I don't think it goes around anymore, but I would love to try it again. The orange one was the best.
The orange one, the glass bottles, that was a good stuff. And that let's end on that note, shall we? That segment was brought to you by Fubo.tv, your home for all things Serie A and EPL here in Canada. Steve, let's take it through a couple of the news, and let's start off with the one I sent to you, right? Milan il profondo rase dei conti 8 punti in 14 scontri diretti. That was yes, we haven't been playing good this year, but this was a real eye-opener to me, Steve. In 14 games with direct rivals, talking about teams that are ahead of us, 8 points, Steve. 8 points out of 52. How did you take this article?
This is it's something that we went through earlier in the season. How many stupid drop points we had against our, let's say, non-direct rivals, games we should have won. This is even more. So it's a combination of both, right? How many dumb points we lost against people, teams that we should have beaten, and taking 8 points out of 14, 14 matches. I'm not the best mathematician, but 14 times 3 is a shit ton
It's
of.
52.
It's
52.
52 points. So taking 8 out of 52 points, that's the gap. Like, even if you get half of those points, you're still in a much better place, right? So this is troubling, and it's troubling because I don't think we played worse than some of these teams. I just think that once we showed up against them, you know, it just didn't work out for Milan. And we had an Atalanta performance because a lot of the matches against our direct rivals, except for Inter, we seem to have a very tough time generating offense against them.
And all the rest of the news, high RPM on Patreon says, like, I assume that he was talking about the like new coach is not working out. What's next? And we take a look at what's next. Would it be a direttore sportivo? You got Allegri there. We're gonna talk about Ricci. We're gonna talk about Teo. But Steve, is this? Do you find, like, is it the timing of this news? Like, okay, let's go with Allegri. Steve, take out the red and black glasses. He's a good coach, but not for a rebuild. I saw it go through on our Patreon chat. But what do you think of that? Like, is Allegri? I don't know. I'm just
You can't, and it was purpose. Well, I know that we were talking about stuff that we want to talk about. We cannot talk about the next coach unless you tell me who the direttore sportivo is, who the sporting director is, because the sporting director is going to select his coach. That's how it
and
has
do
to
you
work.
and do you find like, like the why hasn't it been appointed yet? How did we go to siamo alle cose formali, like like he used to say? What was his name with Paratici? Now we went from Tare to the Atalanta guy. What's the delay? It's just like, then again, do
This
you
is this
why
is
name him?
exactly
Yeah.
in a nutshell the complete and utter disorganization of this franchise from the top, because it cannot be serious, and I read something just before we got on about Ambrosini saying everybody's not at the same starting line, and everybody doesn't know where the finishing line is up there. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. It's everybody is pulling in their own direction. So what happened this year? We did not have a sporting director, or we did have one until Ibra got into a bitch fight with him, and no one even remembers his name. I'm sure, I don't know if it's he who selected the coach, if it's Ibra who selected the coach, if it's Furilani who selected the coach. Any which of those options is absolutely shit foot wrong. And this is why our team is in the trash right now. Because the most important position, and this is something that I blame management, right? And it's Furulani if he's in charge of the finances, it's Scaloni if he's the quote unquote president of Milan, and it's Jerry Cardinale who's paying these two gentlemen. At a certain point, he's going to go down. He probably doesn't know what a direttore sportivo is or a sporting director is. And again, to be honest with everybody, he should not have to know. The people that he's paying should know that this is a very important position and it's not to be fucked around with.
I'll agree with you on that, Steve. But if a guy like Jerry has the balls to fire a guy like Maldini, he should know about all these different positions. And anyways, we'll see. We'll see what comes up the in the summer. But would it be coach, direttore sportivo, tutto sport? You, I know you, tutto sport. 35 to 40 million Ricci. Steve, you know what? The way our team has been going, and always the rumors of these players coming to. Do you even believe what you're sharing here on this page?
uh, I will I will believe when they tell me who the direttore sportivo is if we will be purchasing and going in the direction of let's start to get some players who understand what the Milan jersey is all about. Uh, am I saying that Ricci does or does not understand? I don't know, but I'm starting to get a little bit agitated with people coming to our team and the fans understanding what the jersey means, but the players don't.
The last piece of news: Teo supposedly close to signing a renewal. Steve, is that for you a good sign? Even in torment, like signing reindeers, do you take it in that same kind of news, or is it like let's lock him up so if we have to have an offer, we'll at least get like a clause kind of money?
That's what it means in European football. In European in North America, a contract is a contract. In European football, a contract is yes, we will sell him to you anyways, regardless of what his wishes are, and you'll just have to pay him that amount of money or more. So it's good for the player. In terms of selling, Milan have not been great at selling. That's why I am interested to see who they select as the sporting director. Notice I've been saying this a lot of times, hoping that the YouTube algorithm catches us, because the sporting director is the most important role in this goddamn football club, and we don't have one right now.
And you know what? We're talking about sporting director and choosing coaches. Steve, how about in the summer the players that are coming back? A lot of we seem to not remember or forget that the guys of the likes of Benacer, Kalulu, even though they have these things, they're all on loan. Steve, do you think that the Il Direttore Sportivo will show what he's bringing to the table by maybe bringing some of these guys back? Maybe I don't. What do you think, Steve? The Benacer Kalulu looks like it's going to be a done deal, right? But it's just like, what do you think about all these players in these? João Felix for sure ain't staying. That's one thing I'm positively sure about. But Benny talking about like they didn't get along with Conceição, but now if it's not what's it, De Zerbi there in Marseille, he might come back. Do you think that's maybe one of the things he can show? What he's capable of doing or putting the hammer down of all these loanees?
We need to see what the strategy is, right? So Milan have a lot of players that they sent out on loan. Some, well done. Some I would have, we talked about Kalulu, not that he's the next coming of Marcel Desailly, as much as people want to compare him to that, but giving him to a direct rival and that player being their best defender for the year kind of hurts. For me, it's more I don't really mind whatever they decide with these loanies. Really, I don't. What I do want is I do want to know what's happening with the Camarda, what's happening with the Liberali. I want to know that portion of the plan.
Okay, so do you give those kids like now you have no excuse, Steve? You have no excuse, right? You got 5 games left. These youngsters, right? Who should get the spotlight and forget who should get the spotlight. Who do you want to see play? Because in the end,
There's a
Steve, what are we
problem.
playing for?
There's a problem. We're not playing for anything. The Milan Futuro is. It's
Oh
very
yeah, that's
important
true.
that they stay
Yeah.
they stay up. So that's what they're playing for. Unfortunately, they were able to. This administration was also able to fuck that up, and we're gonna tie Gibra on that as well. Uh, where we had a coach who had some sort of knowledge of what Milan meant, and because of personal, and again, this is just my opinion. I think it's strictly personal. We ended up losing this coach who had a rough year if you think about it, because he also got fired 2 times from the second place team in the Serie A, which is just Italian football in a nutshell, and that's Abate, guys. So they were able to screw that up. So now, because they screwed that up, the Liberali, the Camarda, they need to stay with the Futuro for at least the rest of the year. But come next year, let me tell you, they're going to be their agents, family member or not, are going to be asking a shit ton of questions to this Milan. What's the plan for Camarda? What's the plan for Liberali?
Mm.
And without a sporting director, I am scared shitless of the decisions that they make.
So I'm gonna ask you like I'm gonna ask the guys in the chat. Steve, you have to one priority, and I think you've answered me in the last 15, 20 minutes. The one priority, coach, striker, or sporting director. You have to
Sporting
choose one.
director. Sporting director.
And you give him
Sporting director.
carte blanche?
Carte blanche. White card. Cartolina bianca. Sporting director. Ibra, go choose a position. I love this guy. And I wish someone would show up because I really love this guy and I really love the persona. But this is not for you. You're in shoes that are too big for you right now. It's a lot of stuff, right? Like this might have been a good career choice, going somewhere else, learning the ropes, humbling yourself a bit. It's not a sideshow, right? Furlani, you are a goddamn finance guy. If I need to do my income taxes, Furlani, I would be more than happy to give you that. Do my fucking income taxes. Okay?
Right. So sporting director, it is. I think the guys in the chat
it has to be.
Are agreeing with you, but not only Steve a sporting director, but not a sporting director in in the shadows, a sporting director that's just gonna go over there and it's like, okay, here's what we need to do, and take the bull by the reins, because this team definitely needs it, especially next year. We'll see what happens, next 5 games. Before the last 5 games, Steve, before we're going into our closing thoughts, Coppa Italia, Wednesday. Second leg. Let me ask you this, Steve. I go back to Materazzi's comments, right? And I'm not saying this season would be a success. Don't get me wrong, but what would it mean to you if somehow, some way, we get passed through Inter? Because I don't know if you know, Steve, Milan likes to outperform like teams that are a lot better than them. That's what we do. Where do you like people saying season salvage? No, I don't think the season is because of Champions League money not getting there. But how do you where's the importance on a scale to 1 to 10, making it through a final and possibly winning and coming out with 2 trophies this year? Is that on a scale to 1 to 10?
Their number 10, and right now has to be the Coppa Italia. They're nowhere close to a 4th place spot. There's 5 games left. We haven't won 3 games in a row all year. Let's go and let's win this Coppa Italia match. We're going to end up dropping points against Venezia. So by the time the final comes around, we'll be, we'll be past that, potential getting a 3-game winning streak, and we'll play a final against Bologna or Empoli. I think it's Bologna.
No, Bologna won, yeah. And we would go, I think Coppa Italia winner goes directly to Europa, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like,
yay. Anyways, whatever. But it's not even that the point. We're going to get a really pissed off Inter. I'm pretty sure that they're going to, they're going to make this tough. I don't have a good feeling about this game. Milan is like a wounded dog. Everybody just keeps on kicking us. I hope that they find some sort of aspiration from this Coppa Italia, because it would be a little shining light on a very dark season, an unsalvageable season for how bad. And I don't care about the money. Guys, Milan's in 9th place, guys. Never mind the money, guys. Never mind the champions. I love people that talk about money. Fucking Milan's in 9th place, guys. 9th place. Look at the teams that are in front of us, Vinny. You showed the thing. Like, guys, come on. Fiorentina, really? Lazio. The president is complaining about playing a makeup game when someone passed away. Imagine the intelligent fortitude of a Lazio team. Roma, guys. Roma. Honestly. Roma. Juve.
You know what's the most frustrating, Steve, is that all those teams you just mentioned on paper were better than them. It just seems like just this year, Sanutanpo, and it's like, people want to talk about, Napoli having the worst Serie A Scudetto defense, in the last 20 years. because of their fallout. I think we're maybe 20 points lower than we were last year at this point. And it's like, I'm not saying it's comparable, but something needs to happen. Something needs to change. And again, I think it starts with a sporting director, but not a sporting director that is just going to there for show, right, Steve? Sporting director that's going to go there and just dictate, and here's what we need to do. Let's go with closing thoughts on this, guys. Thank you very much for following. Thank you very much for the support on Patreon. And a special shout out to Kim. Thank you very much for your years of supporting Patreon. Sorry to see you go. Forza Milan as always. And, you know, you wrote to me, Steve, the vibes are gone. The spark is dead. We're in survival mode. What needs to happen in these last... Okay, so you said Coppa Italia, right? Your thoughts on that we need to somehow kind of salvage, and salvage, Steve, is a big word. I'm not saying this will salvage our season, but talk to me, man. Like, you know, what will make you, I'm not going to say content, but
they gotta win the Coppa Italia.
I'm trying to find you a better word than salvage the season.
There's nothing to salvage. The season is a failure. But you know, if you
the asterisk on the season will be your Coppa Italia.
Coppa Italia, yeah. But in reality, the season is a failure.
And I wanted to ask you this too: was that what are the chances of Conceição staying next year?
Tell me the sporting director, and I'll tell you the chances.
Guys, how about you guys? Do you think that maybe winning Coppa Italia will be the asterisk on the season? Guys, it is what it is. Coast to Coast on Wednesday will be on after the Coppa Italia, hopefully with a better attitude, in a better mood than me and Stevie P. Steve, it is what it is. Would it be the podcast, the viewers? Would it be the Milan Club Montreal? And I'm sure all the clubs around the world are feeling the same thing. The clubs, the podcasts go the way the team goes. We are suffering. Please get back on track. We cannot go through another season of this. And I know some of you guys are talking about the banter era. Guys, please go back to the banter era, and please do not compare what's happening right now to the banter era. Watching Milan will be over. Steve, what do you say to the people that compare this to the banter era? Maybe they have selective memory because it was worse than this, was it not?
Yeah, very, very worse, very worse.
Steve, let's close this off. Hopefully coming off with some sort of result on Wednesday. Guys, make sure you pull up those notifications, the bells, the notification bell for Coast to Coast on Wednesday with Gio and Fabio. Again, hopefully a good news to put this asterisk on this season. Stevie P, before I take us home, any closing words for our loyal viewers and listeners?
Just take us home!
Ovunque e sempre, guys.
Forza Milan.
Forza Milan. Ciao.